Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're digging into something a bit different. We've got excerpts from an Easy English Pod episode, the one called Making a Reservation at a Hotel. And our mission here isn't just, to learn how to book a hotel room. It's really about looking under the hood. How does this source break down a real-world task? How does it make learning something practical feel, well, doable?
Exactly. And what's fascinating, I think, is how structured it all is. It's almost like invisible scaffolding they're building. They add these layers of competence, very smoothly.
Yeah.
So the learner doesn't really feel overwhelmed. And that's a huge insight, right? For teaching basically any complex skill, not just English, making the complicated seem accessible.
Okay, yeah, let's get into that. So how does this Easy English Pod episode actually start? How does it grab your attention right away? Well, it kicks off with what they call a warm-up chat. The hosts share these little personal stories, like one of them talks about booking a room with an ocean view and how they always ask, is breakfast included? Which, same here.
Relatable.
Totally. And the other host mentions forgetting to check about Wi-Fi once and finding out it was only available down in the lobby. Ouch.
Right.
So think about that for a second. How quickly do those little anecdotes highlight the common questions, maybe even the anxieties you might have, and the potential problems too, right? When you're trying to book a hotel, it really sets the scene.
Oh, absolutely. Starting with those relatable moments, it's clever. It's not just setting context. It's like it creates these little emotional anchors in your brain for the stuff that comes next. You remember the story about the Wi-Fi hassle? So the phrase, is Wi-Fi included? Might stick a bit better. It taps into how we naturally learn from experience,
Yeah.
even if it's someone else's story.
That's a really good point, the emotional anchors. But I wonder, could starting with mistakes sometimes make a beginner feel a bit anxious or maybe even distract them if it's not handled carefully? Is there a risk there?
That's fair. A valid thought. But I think the key here is how they're presented. It's all very lighthearted. It feels like, hey, we've all been there.
Yeah.
It normalizes the struggle, makes it less about fear, more about just navigating things.
Sure.
And importantly, they don't dwell on it. They quickly pivot to the solution. Which brings us neatly to the next part.
Right, which is the vocabulary time. Once they've got you hooked with the stories, they give you the actual tools. They lay out the key words you absolutely need. Things like reservation, booking ahead, check in when you arrive and register, check out, leaving and settling the bill. Simple stuff, but crucial.
The building blocks.
Exactly. And room types. Single room, double room, and the fancier suite. Plus, amenities, the extras like a pool gym, maybe that free breakfast we mentioned. Then there's deposit, paying some money up front. Cancellation policy, super important, the rules for canceling. And vacancy, which just means they have rooms available.
Yeah, the core list.
And it's not just the words in isolation. They immediately pair them with the essential questions you need to ask, like, do you have any vacancies? Or how much is the room per night?
Straight to the point.
Yeah. And is breakfast included, of course. Also, can I have a room with a view? And what is your cancellation policy?
Okay, so this part really gives you those fundamental pieces. And if you think about the bigger picture of learning,
Yeah.
it shows how focusing on a targeted set of words and questions can unlock a whole area of conversation pretty efficiently. It's very practical. Focused on what you actually need to do, not just knowing abstract grammar. Functional fluency, you could call it.
Functional fluency. I like that.
Yeah.
But just knowing the words and questions isn't quite enough, is it? You need to see them in action. And this is where I think it gets really practical. They move into the main dialogue. They play out a whole conversation. And then, this is key, they do a dialogue breakdown.
Right, see it whole first.
Exactly. So the scenario is a guest, Emma Williams, calls the Ocean View Hotel. She says she wants a reservation, 3 nights, October 14th to the 17th. Specifics are important.
Dates are crucial.
And she asks for a double room with a sea view. The receptionist checks, says yes, it's $120 a night, and breakfast is included.
Good info.
Emma says, okay, she'll use a credit card, gives her name, and boom, booking confirmed. A standard interaction. But then right after you hear it, they zoom in on specific phrases like, I'd like to make a reservation. They point out that it's a polite way to start.
Politeness factor, yeah.
And from the 14th to the 17th of October, stressing the need for exact dates. How much is it per night? The direct way to ask the cost. And clarifying breakfast is included means no extra charge for it.
And that method, showing the full thing, then taking it apart,
Yeah.
it really reinforces learning, doesn't it? It mirrors how we often figure things out see the finished product, then understand the parts. It's not just about memorizing. It's about seeing phrases used and getting their function in the conversation. So, thinking about that, how could you, listening now, maybe use that dialogue then breakdown idea for other tricky interactions? Maybe like, I don't know, a tech support call or something.
That's an interesting challenge. Yeah, I could see that. For me, what also stood out was that focus on politeness with "I'd like to." It's subtle, but important, and they don't just tell you about it, they make you practice it, which leads to the next big section. The source really leans into role play practice and extended practice with variations.
Ah, the practice part. Crucial.
Totally. They mention having like 5 different booking scenarios, different prices, different dates, different requests, and they explicitly tell the listener repeat each line, get it in your mouth.
Active learning.
And then the extended practice goes further, multiple, full conversations, different accents, different situations, even dealing with little problems like, sorry, no vacancies, or maybe needing a different kind of room.
Right, so it moves from simple repetition, just mimicking, towards handling variations and, well, challenges. That's vital for real-world use, isn't it? Because things don't always go exactly like the first example. It builds adaptability, makes the knowledge actually usable when things get a little messy. Like I said, it has to stick.
It really feels like that bridge between just knowing something and actually being able to do it. Could this apply elsewhere? Like learning coding, you don't just memorize commands, you have to debug unexpected errors, try different approaches.
Precisely. It's about deliberate practice in increasingly complex or at least varied situations, moving from the controlled lab to the real world, essentially. And then almost as a final layer, they add these real-life tips.
Yeah, these are great. They go beyond just the English words. They advise things like, always get your booking confirmed by email. Have that proof.
Smart. Always good to have a paper trail or a digital one.
And always check the cancellation policy before you hand over any money.
Absolutely critical. Avoid nasty surprises later.
Definitely practical wisdom. But, thinking about those tips, are there edge cases? Like maybe with a tiny guest house, an email isn't their main thing. Or if you book super last minute, does the policy still hold the same way?
That's a sharp point. These are solid general rules, absolutely. But you always need that layer of critical thinking, right? A small B&B might still prefer a phone call follow-up. Last-minute deals might have stricter, non-refundable terms. So the tips aren't just rules. They also kind of nudge you to think about the transaction itself, the context, which is smart.
Good point. It prompts more thinking.
And then, to kind of wrap it all up and make sure it sinks in, they have a review and final practice section. Circling back, reinforcing those key phrases one last time.
Yeah, hitting the essentials again. I'd like to make a reservation. Do you have any vacancies? How much is it per night? Is breakfast included? Repetition for retention.
Exactly, making sure the core takeaways are solid.
Well, we hope this deep dive into how the Easy English Pod source teaches a practical skill has been useful for you. Hopefully it sparks some ideas about learning effectively.
Yeah, and just one final thought to leave you with. Think about this whole systematic approach we've unpacked. Starting with relatable stories, then building vocabulary, showing it in context, practicing with variations, adding real-world tips. How could that whole blueprint, because it really is a blueprint, be used for learning any practical skill you want to master? Maybe it's a work process, maybe a new software, maybe even a hobby like gardening or playing guitar. How can you apply these principles, structure, context, practice, real-world application, to learn something new in your own life quickly, but also, deeply? Something to think about.